Hey everybody, and welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley412, looking at the early slate for MLB. 4 games, really ugly pitching slate. But yeah, we'll just kind of go through all the pitchers here. But before we begin, hit that subscribe button, and also go check out some of our NFL content. Meg Ruler is going to have a video out either Saturday afternoon or Saturday night, or it might even be out by now. I'm not sure when he's planning on recording that video, but he's going to have all of the stacks that he has interest in, some plays, individual plays that we're going to be interested in, ownership, all that kind of stuff. So go support him. Go support the NFL side of FSI as well. Really do appreciate it. So thanks. But looking at this slate, it is pretty ugly. Only 4 games, and it includes Coors Field and it includes Atlanta. Now, Coors Field was not Coors Field tonight. Colorado had San Francisco in a no-hitter all the way up until the 9th inning. But still, it's still Coors Field. We got to be paying attention to those offenses. In the pitching side of things, it's pretty ugly. So let's just start at the top. Chris Bassitt, Chris Sale going off against each other, both in kind of tough matchups. Bassitt facing off against a bunch of lefties in Boston. Chris Sale, left-handed pitcher, facing off against a Toronto team that can really stack up the righties into their lineup. 9.5, 9.2K. A little bit pricey, I think, for both of them, but it wouldn't shock me if DK, bumped up their price tags a little bit just because of what else is available on the rest of the slate. Bassitt, he's faced off against Toronto, or he's faced off against Boston one time so far this season. Did really well. 7 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. He allowed 10 base runners, so to allow only 1 earned run. He did get a little bit lucky with the BABIP. He wasn't striking out a whole lot of guys. Still was able to get 6. But still, if Bassitt's able to get you 20 to 25 DK points on this slate with this pitching, I think that's a great start. Chris Sale, again, facing off against Toronto. Toronto does very well against left-handed pitching just because of how many right-handed power bats they do have. One thing to note, though, is Vlad Jr. actually doesn't have the greatest numbers against left-handed pitching this season. Kind of took me off guard when I did see that. So just one thing to note there is... yeah, I don't know. There's really not much else to say about Toronto there. I still think that Sale and Bass are going to get the ownership regardless of the matchups and what's going on. Oakland, they're going to be going split, so pitching opener and then long relief. Miller, I don't have any interest. He's only going to be going 2 innings, and at 8.4K, he's not going to be able to pay off his price tag. So just kind of cross him off your list. Medina, I have a little bit of interest in him, just because he's really struggled as of late in terms of his strikeout rate. His strikeout rate over the past month is 10 to 12%. It is really bad. But prior to that, he had a strikeout rate, in the upper teens, closer to 20%. He was able to get you, 5, 6, 7. He even got 9 strikeouts in one of these games. So the K rate was there. It's fallen off a cliff, but he's had some brutal matchups as of late. Texas, Toronto, Baltimore, a Washington team that very low strikeout rate, and San Francisco. Now San Diego, they don't strike out a whole lot themselves, but still, I think Medina, given everything else on this slate, could be an intriguing option. Schuster, no interest. He speaking of guys with no strikeout rate, there he is. I mean, he was a higher prospect for Atlanta coming into the season. It just hasn't translated to the MLB level, so no interest in him there. I don't know who's going to be pitching for San Francisco. I'm recording this the night before, but DK has Stripling. MLB.com has Win. If it is Stripling, I have no interest. If it's Win, I'm going to have quite a bit of interest. He actually just faced off against this Colorado team. He was a bullpen guy. They're starting to stretch him out. Now he's going to be able to go 80 to 85, maybe even 90 pitches, go farther into the game. At 6.8K, I think that could be a nice value. Colorado's just not a team that you should be scared about offensively at all. Waldron, decent matchup going up against Oakland, and then no interest in the rest of the guys. So really, Bassitt Sale is going to see quite a bit of ownership just because, they're the only two decent-ish pitchers on the slate. Medina, have some interest. Win. I really hope it's going to be Win because that'll really open up some of the salary down low. So looking towards the bats, we got Coors Field, San Francisco, and Colorado. Again, if it's Stripling, I'm going to have a lot more interest in Colorado, but if it's Win, I'm not going to have as much interest in Colorado, even though it is Coors Field. It just kind of hasn't hasn't felt like Coors Field over the course of this season here, especially Friday night when it was at the time of the recording, last I checked, it was a 1-1 game in the 9th inning. So a lot of disappointments all around there. But San Francisco, if they are facing off against Lambert, I'm obviously going to be targeting the lefties. They have a lot of those guys. Even Estrada would be somebody that you could have some interest in. He's got nice numbers against right-handed pitching. But hopefully they got Jock Peterson in there. Yastrzemski, Wade Jr. still too cheap at 4K. Conforto, 3.8. They just got so many great left-handed bats in their lineup. I would have interest in them. On the Boston-Toronto side of things, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of ownership here, but I think it makes for a very intriguing GPP play, just because, Bassett and Sale are guys that they can get blown up in terms of pitching. I feel weird just saying they can get blown up. But Toronto, that's an offense that can put up double digits runs and you really wouldn't be too shocked. Boston, they're a team that can put up double digit runs and you really wouldn't be too shocked. And both of these guys really struggled in their last start out. Bassett gave up 5 earned runs in his last start out. Not too great. Chris Sale, on the other side of things, now he is getting an extra day of rest. They gave him an extra day or two of rest because, again, he did not look great in his last start out. One thing, this is not Sale related, obviously, because there's a bullpen behind him. But 3 of the past 5 teams to face Sale hit 10 or more runs. Intriguing. But still, I think that's a really intriguing GPP plays here just because I think the ownership's going to be on these pitchers, not so much on the bats because of the availability of the pitchers and what's available to us. But still, these are both solid offenses that could do very well. Again, word of note, Vlad Jr., he doesn't have the greatest numbers against lefties. Still good, though. Still a guy that you should be targeting. I'm just going to skip over San Diego, Oakland. I just don't have a whole lot of interest other than maybe some Oakland cheaper bats facing off against Waldron. Oh man, Noda, bro. Just keep it up towards the top here. It's bad. I just hate. They're a scrappy team though. They're a scrappy team. Waldron's not a guy that I'm going to be terrified of. I could see people playing Waldron as well for San Diego, the pitcher, just because it is Oakland and it is a weaker matchup. If that's the case, sign me up for Oakland. They're a scrappy bunch. They can still get you 6-7 runs here and there from time to time. Atlanta, they're going to be the other chalk, obviously, on this slate, facing off against Ho-Wing. Anybody is in play. Olsen, he's going to be the cover of this video. He's always going to be in play. Harris, Riley, Albies, your usual guys. Ozuna can mash right-handed bats. If Nicky Lopez is in there, even if he's hitting in the 9th spot, 3.1K, do a nice wraparound stack if you do want to go in that direction. So I think the chalk is probably going to be... now what is it going to be? My guess, Bassett. If Wynn is going for San Francisco, I think it's going to be Wynn as the SP2, which is what MLB.com has. I think it could be this, and that's probably going to be jamming in San Francisco and some mix of Atlanta. That would be my guess. I do think that there's not going to be a lot of ownership in the San Diego-Oakland game in terms of the bats. There's not going to be much ownership in Miami, which I think there honestly should be ownership in Miami. Schuster, I already talked about how he has a very minimal strikeout rate. I don't think he has more than 3 or 4 strikeouts in any of his starts so far this season. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go. He had a 7 in here against Seattle. Of course, Seattle strikes all the time. But yeah. Everything else, very low strikeout rate. Miami, we always talk about they don't have a whole lot of power, but they got some. They got Jazz back, so, there's the power there. Bell, Jesus Sanchez, he can knock him out from time to time. So I think that Miami should see a little bit more ownership, or could be a little bit under-owned, just because people are just going to be going to Coors Field or Atlanta. But yeah, so that's kind of where the early slate shakes out. So hopefully this was helpful and kind of just steering you in the right direction. Again, go check out Mega Roller. He's going to have the NFL content up on Saturday at some point in the day, but he's covering NFL, he's covering NASCAR, he's covering MLB. So please give him a shout out, drop him a comment. Just really thank him for all the stuff that he's able to do here at FSi, because it's truly incredible. So good luck in your contest. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you on Monday.